ban out the roam, because there's not that many roam heroes.
Traditionally, that's right. All right, I think we're ready for the picks and bans phase. Yes, we are, because Nemesis Hydra has already eliminated Rona from the equation.
This is pretty tough, because do you ban the Arden and give them Fortress?
Yeah, so now Liberation's either trying to see if they can ban a Fortress or ban a Koshka, and they do have a lot of options open.
I think if maybe they leave both Arden and Fortress open, they can secure whichever Nemesis
That
Hydra
comes second,
doesn't.
right? And they'll be able to have secure 2 picks.
Right.
And it is the Arden.
Thank you.
You're back on track.
Back on track.
And we'll see what Lost Boy is able to do. Hardik, of course, is going to be on the Koshka.
Now I'd actually like to see Liberation X secure 2 different picks, preferably a jungler and a roamer, and then leaving the last pick for like a Sky. I want to see Sky being played again by Liberation X.
All right, so it is going to be Hardik back on the Koshka. He has been so impressive. Every time he's had a chance to get on that Koshka, he's been the story, so maybe the story will shift from Lost Boy to Hardik now. And for Liberation X, they get Fortress that's got to feel good, as same deal with Glaive.
Yep, exactly like Rome said, and I really do like this pickup. The Glaive does quite well against the Koshka. I mean, the Fortress will allow Glaive to get to that mid-game after Koshka kind of settles down a little bit.
Yeah, but looking at like their previous game mistake with the same comp, Glaive should be building a lot of defense.
He says covering the mic, making it louder.
Oh, exceptionally. So Nemesis Hydra here is probably going to lock up a Ringo, Catherine perhaps.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's getting good at this.
Kablam.
Liberation with the Sky.
Give yourself a
It's
pat
like
on the
you've
back.
played this game before
Sky?
or something.
Sky.
All right, so these comps are playing out now, as you might expect under the circumstances, but it is Liberation X instead choosing to go with a Celeste. What's the thinking behind that?
T-Tigers is an amazing Celeste. I think he first got Vainglorious Gold just playing Celeste. This was back during like the CP Vox days. And he's always excelled with her. Like his skill shots are on point, his farming is on point. So with Liberation X's, they have a good balanced team where they can farm into the late game with Celeste and have Glaive and Fortress put that early pressure on. So Glaive is really well balanced. Like he doesn't have like a certain level spike. So he's strong early towards the late game, depending on how you build and how you itemize.
All right, so Hafu, it would certainly be nice for Liberation X to have a match where they have T-Tigers winning lane, Status Baked winning jungle. We haven't really seen that fully happen.
I mean, Coeds is also an amazing laner. We keep saying how good T-Tigers is, but still, it is a Ringo versus Celeste. I mean, I haven't seen T-Tigers play Celeste yet, but I would still expect Celeste to be kind of on the passive end at the beginning and maybe picking it up in the team fights when she finishes that first or second item.
It is Catherine rounding out this draft. So the Koshka, Ringo, Catherine roam. Thoughts on that?
Very strong in the early game. The thing is, like, they have to use that aggression or it's going to start falling off. And running into a comp with Liberation being able to scale out so well, they have to make those right plays. So with Coeds rotating down a lot, it's going to really help them out. But they also have to prevent Celeste from coming down too, because she has a lot of AoE on her. And because these guys are so squishy and cramped up, it's going to be dependent on how they position themselves.
In 111, we've seen laners sometimes opt for that tier 1 defense rather than an offensive item off of match start. In this particular lane matchup, would you expect to see that at all?
So Ringo would be going like tier 1 shield, while Celeste would be going tier 1 armor. That works really well if you're able to like try and predict like the last hit, so you can come in and put some pressure on, taking some minion damage in return. So you have to be really like strong and pretty much confident in how much you're able to poke in the early game.
All right, $10,000 on the line potentially in this match. It is the third game in a best of 5. Nemesis Hydra is up 2-0. Liberation X, their backs are against the wall. We are ready for the match, and for that it is Action Jackson and Vedius.
Thank you for what could be the last time, Playoff Beard. That was an amazing game 2. This could be the final game of the Autumn Finals. Lost Boy Toph has really impressed me in these last 2 games. Nemesis Hydra as a whole has really impressed me. Do you think they can do it again?
They certainly can, and you know, if other people want to be just like Lost Boy Toph, they should really consider checking out one of our fantastic sponsors, NVIDIA, because they have some fantastic products that would allow you to play Vainglory. And you know where you can get Vainglory? The Amazon App Store. So make sure that you also check out them, because Vainglory is the game that you want to be playing right now.
I'm going to go play some right after this because they've pumped me up. I hope they're pumping you guys up in the crowd. This is going to be an awesome game. Get ready for it, guys. We're hopping onto the Halcyon Fold with Nemesis Hydra versus Liberation X. Liberation X need to win this one to stay alive in the tournament.
So game 3, Liberation X versus Nemesis Hydra. Sides have swapped once again, but it does look like Hardek is going to be back on his Koshka. We've already seen how dominant he is. Let's see if he can repeat that performance. I'm looking forward to seeing what could be the final game of the North American Live Finals. Both teams right now, pretty standard starts. I wouldn't be surprised once again to see Liberation X going for that very early fight. That is what they've gone for every single game so far. And if they change things up, it would be a little bit strange, but we'll have to see what they decide to do.
Look at the damage coming out of Coeds in the lane as well. He has great pressure over top of that Celeste, but then again, he's got to be careful of these ganks coming in. Marto and Status making their way right up here. Coeds, he's conscious enough of the fact that might happen to back off. Very smart play out of him. LibX, you know, we got to talk about one. Oh, actually, Status Baked, he is going to get the stun. Look at the damage, Coeds! Oh my word, he goes down!
That was a great play coming out from Marto, something that we probably should have mentioned. They have brought in Marto as a substitute for Dawn Eclipse coming into game 2, but hang on, because Hardek has found T-Tigers.
He's doing some good damage right now, but with level 2, T-Tigers might be able to land some stuns, core collapses, that kind of thing. Hardek doesn't quite have the cooldowns to keep going there, and T-Tigers is going to get away safely. Meanwhile, Status Baked and Marto doing a great job of invading the jungle. Lost Boy Toph having to take the consolation prize, try and steal away some of these back camps. But this is the thing, Vedius. Every single game, we've seen this out of LibX. They even got an ace at 1 minute in the first game. They need to make sure the ball keeps on rolling and doesn't fall to a standstill.
It's what they like to do. I really like the fact that Hardek was forced to come top lane to try and deal with T-Tigers shoving in the lane, and that allowed them the opportunity to move into the back half of the jungle, steal away those camps, but Nemesis Hydra don't want to give them everything.
This is the second time he's got caught out here. That is going to be a kill going the way of Status Bake. Now Hardek, he tried to save his buddy, but he's going to get stuck by the core collapse. T-Tigers helps out Status Bake. They are now 3 kills to nothing at 2.5 minutes.
And this is Liberation X in a nutshell. They are the freight train of the North American LCS when it comes to aggression. They do not stop when they find an opportunity. What felt like for Nemesis Hydra, them collapsing onto Liberation X, was actually the other way around. Coed was caught completely out of position, but Hardek, he wants to try and answer to that.
Yeah, he is going to try and get in here, but Status Baked and Marto are right on his back. Coed's coming down to reinforce. They're going to put a lot down back onto Marto and forces a retreat from the members of Liberation X. Marto is really showing up in this game, Vedius. We saw Dawn Eclipse get swapped out for him. Obviously, they both had good performances in the early game, but you can see Marto, he's here, he's ready to play.
Certainly is, and so far he's been doing a good job, been involved in every single kill, having a fantastic work on this fortress. They were considering coming into this game, putting him in the starting lineup, but they wanted to stick to their classic lineup that they'd ran throughout the VGL. But they feel like now, currently sitting at 0-2, they needed to make a change. Marto coming in could be the change that they needed to bring back this series. This is obviously a best of 5. Nemesis Hydra leading the series 2-0. Liberation X all to play for so far.
This is potentially one of the big advantages that LibX has in the tournament. They have quite a large roster, I believe 5 or 6 people that can play if required. So when it comes down to it, you can just swap the ingredients out, try and put in the secret sauce and make it work. Nemesis Hydra, they got to be careful right now. Here comes the gank again out of Marto and Co. But this time, Lost Boy Toph is the target. He is much tankier, able to get out of there.
Liberation X, once again, just sitting in the enemy's half of the jungle. It's what they are well known for within the North American region. They're going for the collapse in the top lane, though.
Oh, this could be a bad spot. Look at how bad the positioning is for Nemesis Hydra. Coeds, he is super low, goes down immediately. They're trying to maybe get return co onto status fakes, but they need to get out of there. Hardek running for his life at the moment. The Heliogenicide keep falling, but not landing onto the target. That is only going to be 1 kill picked up for Liberation X, but still about a 2,000 gold lead accrued by them right now.
Hardek is also having a bit of a rough
Oh,
time.
the knockback, Hardek! He gets caught out, status faked, turning up the heat, finding another afterburn. Liberation X keep on rolling this ball.
This is just straight up aggression from Liberation X. They don't know how to play any other way. And in the past, Nemesis Hydra have punished Liberation X for it, but in this early game, Liberation X have calmed down a little bit, and it must be due to the addition of Marto. He has clear mind. He doesn't feel any of the last 2 games. He is coming in as a fresh face, which is really changing up the decision-making of Liberation X, and they are playing this perfectly. They're taking advantage of the fact that Coeds does have the stronger laning phase when going up against the Celeste. He's being shoved up. He can't do anything with the lane so overextended, and he's constantly being collapsed upon, resulting in a 0-3 for him so far.
Yeah, not just is his kill score very bad, but he's also sitting on 34 creep score to the 50 of T-Tigers. That is a huge disparity. T-Tigers is going to become very strong very quickly, and Liberation X are going to have a really good mid game if they keep up this pressure.
They certainly are. Notice now a couple of items have been bought. We can see on top of status bait going for some very early shield. Want to deal with the damage coming out from Koshka.
Hardek, he's got that yummy catnip frenzy now, but he's not very tanky yet. Trying to back out of here. T-Tigers is falling very low. Lost Boy Toph finds the kill. They can't get onto Coeds. This is Nemesis Hydra turning the game around yet again. Look at Lost Boy Toph. He's staying alive. He gets out of there. Coeds, he's trying to kite. The Achilles shot on his status baked. They trade kills, but it's Nemesis Hydra who picks up the ace.
So Nemesis Hydra doing what they do best and turning the aggression around. They realized that what they needed to do was get onto T-Tigers. He was the major damage source in that engagement, considering that Status Baked had decided to prioritize defense over aggression. That means that at this point in time, he was not doing that much damage, even though he was 6-1-1. Taking T-Tigers out of the fight meant that they had the numbers advantage, and it was easy for them to clean up that engagement.
Look at this. Sorrow Blade already picked up onto Coeds. He is going to be hitting like a truck. And at this point, if they can burst down a member very quickly, it's going to be easy for Nemesis to roll through a fight.
And the best thing is, for the side of Nemesis Hydra, is that they've prioritized shield for Liberation X. That means that with the Sorrow Blade, he is going to be hitting insanely hard, as you just mentioned. They need to be careful coming into these next few engages. T-Tigers does now have that Frostburn. He can kite around during these engagements, but Lost Boy Toph, I don't think it's possible to kite him around.
I really have to agree with you. He is so good at finding these fights. The gold mine, I want to bring attention to it for a second because it's nearly full. Neither team taking an early gold mine like we're used to seeing from them. Neither of them have the vision. This could be a big point of contention.
Well, there's actually a couple of wards dropped down from the side of Liberation X. They want to know if Nemesis Hydra decide to go for it because they feel that they're in the positional advantage to take it, but Hardek has other things in mind.
Yeah, putting down some nice harassment onto T-Tigers, who, by the way, does not have a reflex block available, so it is possible that a Yummy Catnip Frenzy could really mess up the side of Liberation X. Just has to find the right target. That said, Hardek, he's missed his big power spike. We don't see an Aftershock anywhere. Well, we see an Aftershock coming up, but not very fast on him.
No, it does kind of make... Actually, I kind of wonder whether or not it's the best thing to go for, considering the amount of shield. They're not actually that squishy on the side of Liberation X, so I'm not entirely sure that it is the best itemization. Going for that Broken Myth early may have worked a little bit more in their favor, but speaking of Hardek...
Yeah, he is caught out a little bit here. Look at the damage onto him right away. The reflex block being popped, but he's not going to get the stun off onto status baked. Coeds, however, is free reign on the backside. Not for long, though. T-Tigers and Marto, they jump onto him. They find the kill. They want Lost Boy. We know how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. You do not want to chase him under the turret, and he is going to be able to get away. way.
So it looks like they've learned their lesson from last time, because Lost Boy Top is the 2 versus 1 king and scares them away from that turret dive. Very well executed from Liberation X. They decide not to go for the gold mine, instead decide to just pick up a couple of extra items, decide to take what they can get in terms of the kill advantage, and I think they're going to be pretty pleased with that. Fountain of Renewal has now been picked up for Marto. Coming into these next few fights, they're definitely going to be a lot harder to kill thanks to that itemization.
See, you don't just have to be scared of Lost Boy Top under turrets. They didn't even want to take the gold mine because him and Lost Boy are buddies. You know, he keeps picking up kills off the back of that. Liberation X, definitely, although Marto isn't necessarily going to be feeling the strength of them from the last few games, they are afraid of Nemesis right now. They're not being super aggressive. They're just trying to pick the fights they know that they can win.
So it does feel like this game is a little bit closer than what we've seen so far. Nemesis Hydra, even though quite far behind in terms of the kills, have been putting up a very good fight, assuming that they can find the engagements that they want. The biggest problem for them is that their composition is slowly starting to get outscaled. They're running the Koshka, they're running the Ringo, primarily all about that early game aggression, that early game damage, and the longer this game goes, T-Tigers on that Celeste is going to get insanely strong.
He doesn't actually get Afterburns back into the team. That puts Status Baked and Marto maybe in a bad spot. Here comes Hardek with the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. The reflex block goes out. It keeps him alive for now. Coeds is doing a lot of damage, but the Afterburn comes through. Tigers, he wants it. One more Heliogenesis finds the kill. That's 2 for 1 in favor of LibX. They are really doing a good job in these fights.
They are executing the fights perfectly, considering that traditionally with this composition they should not be winning. They are making this fortress work phenomenally. Marto is doing such a great job so far. They should be able to pick up this gold mine, but can Lost Boy Top stop them?
Not again, says Marto as he picks up an immense payout for the side of LibX. They are only about 2k gold in the lead, even though they have over double the kills and the gold mine. But even still, these fights do seem to be going in their favor.
Yeah, well now, look at T-Tigers. He's currently sitting at 93 CS, the highest in the game. Has finished that Broken Myth along with the Frostburn, so he's going to be hitting insanely hard coming into these next few engages. Those Solar Storms are going to be massive. Currently sitting at, I do believe, 2 points in that ultimate right now. Once he hits that level 12 mark, gets the overdrive in that ability, he is going to be a massive threat for the side of Nemesis Hydra. They are slowly beginning to get outscaled. They need to be careful coming into these next few engagements. The gold mine still a little bit low in terms of the next big payout, but the minion candy still trying to keep control of it.
Here comes the pack hunting down onto Coeds and Lost Boytov. You can see the Liberation X really want to play their hand here, try and get some kills. Hardek is going to get Afterburn back into Tigers, but that actually puts him in a bad spot. Here comes Hardek. He gets a lot of damage down. Coeds over the wall finds the kill. Marto is caught out. This was very bad positioning from Liberation X. They want to go in, though. Status Baked finds the stun. Can they get the damage onto Coeds? That is going to be the kill. Liberation X turn it around. They want Lost Boy, but again, it's very risky going under the tower for that kill.
Marto is playing out of his mind right now. His positioning, his use of abilities are providing Liberation X with the utility that they need to come out ahead in these engagements. He is doing such a good job. I talked about that Fountain of Renewal being important, and it was so impactful right there. Even with a fantastic ultimate coming out from Hardek straight onto T-Tigers, they were still able to turn things around in their favor. Liberation X have gotten their stuff together, and they are executing these team fights perfectly.
They definitely are. Nemesis Hydra, they've got a few points that are really making them struggle right now as well. Hardek, you know, he doesn't really have much in the form of damage. He's only relying on his base stats, which is one of the strong suits of Kashka, but not to this extreme. Lost Boy Toth trying to face check here, maybe get a pick on the Tigers, is going to be engaged on the Coeds. Trying to what a Solar Storm! That finds the kill! Lost Boy gets one on the return. It's a 2 versus 2. Hardek wants more. He goes in with the reflex block, but he's going to go down. Marto with the dive, going to back off, chill out a little bit. But Liberation X, every single fight, 2 for 1, 2 for 1, 2 for 1.
That was the Solar Storm that I was talking about. You get the Frostburn, you get the Broken Myth. You need to be careful of it, because if it hits you, it is going to hurt. It's going to hit you like a train, and that is what Liberation X are known for within the North American scene. They are so aggressive. They love to go for these fights, and if you give them the opportunity, they will take it. They are playing these fights so well. They have full control over the gold mine. They pick themselves up some nice vision control. They want to make sure that they maintain that around the bottom half of the map. The immense payout is slowly starting to build up. If we're going to see another fight kick off, I imagine it will be around that gold mine objective.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out again, Nemesis Hydra needs to be really careful, specifically Lost Boy Toph, about giving T-Tigers free stacks of Broken Myth. At the moment, T-Tigers is coming into these fights with so much damage. The infusions are picked up. This is Libex. They want to look for more fights. Hardek getting engaged upon here. Coeds, he's doing a good job of staying safe for now, but Status Bake wants to turn on to him. The focus is split between the two carries. That's going to be one kill. Coeds, look at the damage onto him. T-Tigers finds it. Lost Boy's in a 1 versus 2, but he doesn't have the damage. Marto, he gets the bleed stack down. The Solar Storm, the snipe from T-Tigers. The first ace of the game. Liberation X with Marto showing up in a big way for game 3.
So Coeds in that engagement, that was his opportunity to turn the fight around in their favor, but his positioning was not ideal because he was not paying attention to where those Heliogenesis were. The Supernova did so much damage to him on the backline that enabled Marto to chunk him out with the bleed. That was just very well executed between T-Tigers and Marto. On top of that, it was just the positioning coming out from Liberation X. I keep harping on about it simply because of how important it is. Their positioning in these team fights is fantastic.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of really stopping Nemesis from picking fights in their favor. Liberation X, we said before, even with the kill difference, they didn't have a lot of a gold advantage. Now they absolutely do. Closing in on the 5K mark. They just got another immense payout. This is a bad spot for Hydra. They wanted to secure the win in the finals, but they're not going to be able to do it at this rate. Hardek is engaged upon, gonna be able to back out. Marto is gonna swap focus onto Coeds, so can he keep kiting? Marto on the front line, falling very low. He just about lives a Solar Storm, gets one, Status Bake gets 2. Lost Boy Toph, the lost man standing on the side of Nemesis Hydra. Liberation X with an incredible comeback in game 3.
Marto's use of the Fountain of Renewal is just so on point. Every time it looks like he's about to fall, he pops it, and he's just kept alive on a sliver of health. His constant repositioning of himself, avoiding those abilities, making sure that he can bait Nemesis Hydra in just enough to set up for T-Tigers and Status Bake to clean up the kills. Status Bake was very easily able to stack up those breaking point stacks onto Lost Boy Toph on the front line, and then the moment he's able to afterburn onto the back line, he just deleted Coeds. Liberation X have really stepped things up. Marto has brought so much to this lineup since he's come in for game 3.
He really has. Look at his kill score right now, 3 for 1 for 17.
100%.
He has died one time in a game lasting over, well, nearly 16 minutes, and there's 28 kills in the game, which he's been a part of 100% of. Like you said, he just has had an incredible influence.
He's doing fantastically, and now with the Kraken, they're looking to close out this game. They're going to try and break the base of Nemesis Hydra. Let's see if they can pull it off.
All right, Coeds is taking a bit of ambient damage right now from T-Tigers. Marto wants to go in here. A big Solar Storm could come across the team of Nemesis Hydra. They're going to take down the first turret. The Kraken still hardly taking any damage. Coeds very low on the back line. I'm just waiting for T-Tigers to pull the trigger. He doesn't even need it, though, as they find one kill. Status Bake falls, but look at this. The Kraken running through the base. They don't have time to attack it because they're going to die to Liberation X if they do. Liberation, they're going to come back into this, guys. They're not giving up just yet. Moving forward into another game. Tigers, he needs a few more auto attacks onto the Vein Crystal. The Kraken's going to finish it off, and Liberation X keep alive in the tournaments.
So it looked a little bit dicey at the very end there, but Liberation X knew their